I love it.
All right, well, let's start with this as we're into this new season. Cheers to the new season.
Cheers, buddy. Modelo Oro.
To
It's
the
good
league,
shit.
8-8.
Okay. So I'll be honest with you. I'm not very good at Immaculate Grid, but I think we should try it for the one
I agree.
time.
I actually think that
Um,
like the way that we work together, this will
mhm.
probably go well.
Okay. So here's the squares. On the top we have Seahawks,
Are you able to share
Colts.
this?
Yes, I can. Sorry about that. I should have just done that. Again, I'm rusty. I should have. Here we go.
All
Okay.
right, so we're
So
gonna
we
start
have
off the podcast with the Immaculate Grid just to try and get us fresh into it.
yeah. So the Sea Chickens, the Colts, 1,000 yard receiving. Then we got the Saints, the Commanders, and the Titans. I like to go for the guys that I like.
Here's the thing:
Uh
I'm
huh.
really, really good at figuring out 1,000-yard receivers because that's always the easiest thing.
Yeah, I mean, like
The
Commanders. I'm
trades
thinking like
are always
Aaron.
the hardest. Like the last column's always the easiest column.
Yeah, but it's like these guys, these
It's
obscure
yeah, like
ones that I don't
random.
really know.
All
Whatever.
right,
We,
so
we
let's.
like. I'm thinking 1,000 yards receiver. I mean, Marcus Colston.
That's what I would have gone with. Yeah,
Okay, so let's go with Marcus Colston. 23%. That's not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Washington,
I mean, do we want to go scary
Rice.
Terry? Want to think of someone a
No,
little bit
Sidney
older?
Rice.
Sidney Rice. Okay.
Not Sidney Rice. Not Sidney Rice. Sorry. Not Sidney Rice.
The other
It's
Rice.
no Moss.
Moss. Oh, Sonoris?
Santana.
Santana. Okay. I don't think Sonoris was that good. Yep, 21%. And then
Yeah,
Titans, that was AJ Brown.
Kenny Britt. No, I'm just
Kenny
kidding.
Britt.
Maybe, is Kenny Britt have a 1,000-yard season there?
I don't know. I think AJ Brown has
I
for the
know he
Titans.
did, but okay. Do we gamble on this Kenny Britt guess?
I don't give a shit. Right? We can.
What other 1,000-yard receiver could be at Tennessee?
Dude, I don't know. DH has not caught for 1,000 yards, so I would not say him.
They have one they have somebody like historic, don't they?
Eddie George would have Eddie because the Oilers count here.
That's a running back.
Yeah, but I know, but like, did he didn't
1,000-yard
catch?
receiving,
Yeah,
not back in the day.
no. Okay, I'm thinking like, is there
Delaney
anyone from like,
Walker.
huh?
Delaney Walker.
You think so?
I
We
think
can
Delaney
try it.
Walker
I'm
does.
okay with
Let's do
trying
it.
it.
Let's do that. Delaney Walker.
Oh,
Oh,
6%.
let's go.
Okay, Colts and I mean, okay, let's start here. Actually,
Man, I'm bad at
Saints
these.
and Seahawks. I don't even know. I don't. I'm really bad with like where guys move
Jimmy
to.
Graham.
Oh yeah, easy.
Jimmy Graham. Bam.
78%.
All
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
Now
hey, that's okay.
we need a Saints
Saints
Colt.
and Colts. I don't know. Trying to think of like a random running back has played there. Reggie Bush, no. Also, like the easiest one is always like backup QBs. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah,
noticed that.
that's a good point.
Like this is
Backup
Wentz. We can put
quarterbacks.
Wentz in here for
Yeah,
Colts
put
and
Wentz there.
Commanders.
Definitely put Wentz there.
66. Yeah, that's fine. Commanders, Seahawks. No, I don't think Alex Smith, but I'm thinking like
Commanders.
it's always so hard.
I feel like there's a receiver. Oh fuck! That's what we should have done instead of Wentz. We should have done Garcon.
Oh, Pierre Garcon, yeah. That's definitely a
Pierre
good one.
Garcon can do. Can he do that one? Was he a Saint? He was, right?
Yes, I think he was. Oh,
No, he wasn't.
that doesn't sound right.
No, it just makes too much sense for him to be a Saint because he's Haitian. It does.
Oh, no, Colts, Redskins, back when they were the Redskins, Giant or 49ers. Wrong San Francisco team for Pierre Garcon.
Tennessee
Damn.
and Indy.
I just don't know many Tennessee players. Not I never really paid attention to the AFC South.
I feel like there's
Because the
got to be
Colts are
like a
also in the
corner.
AFC South, right? Yeah.
It's got to be like corners. Dude,
Yeah,
I'm bad at
that's
this.
huh? I know, me
I'm
too, dude.
bad at this.
I'm really bad at this. Believe me. Baseball I can do all day. I'm good with
Really, I
baseball.
struggle with that too. The problem is I
Mhm.
always like I associate people with teams, and then they usually like are either
Stay
with
there.
that team or they
Yeah.
don't play anymore.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I can tell you a ton of Saints. I can tell you a ton of Commanders, but I don't know if
I could
those
also
guys
tell
are
you like anybody that got moved this off season, but that doesn't
yeah.
help us either.
Like Bobby Wagner. Like did he go in? Like he's not. He didn't go anywhere.
Did Brian Arakpo ever play for the Seahawks?
Uh, I don't know. What about what's his name? Ryan, the linebacker, the other linebacker, white guy, Ryan Kerrigan. Did he ever move anywhere?
I never remember him playing anywhere. Where else?
Hmm.
I could do Tennessee and Washington all day.
Tell me. Oh yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, because Arakpo played for both of those.
Compton, Will Compton played for both of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Dude, Titans players, they don't go anywhere and ever succeed again.
I'm trying to think here. Like now, I'm thinking of like just random guys that have played for both teams. Like Leonard
Let me try
Hankerson. Did
Kenny.
he
Let
ever
me try
play?
Kenny Britt for Seattle and Tennessee.
Kenny Britt. No,
Fuck.
it's okay. It's okay. What about kickers? Because kickers tend to move around a lot too.
Yeah, but the Colts only ever had Terry for like the last
Yeah,
decade.
but what did Rodrigo right Blankenship ever play for the like
No,
for the
he only
Titans?
got like 2 jobs after that, and they were like shitty places that he didn't get a
Tampa
shot, like
Bay, right?
Tampa.
That's like the only
Yeah,
place that yeah. D'Angelo Hall, did he move anywhere?
D'Angelo Hall might have played for the Colts, but
Mm,
that doesn't help.
I just remember him with Atlanta and the Commanders. That's it. Mm, no, Cedric Giffrin, no, right? He was just a Viking and
Yeah,
a Commander.
yeah.
I'm just thinking of like random dudes. Billy Cundiff, Kai
Lofa Tatupu.
Forbath,
Did he
huh?
play with? Did Lofa Tatupu play with Washington?
Lofa Tatupu. No, he was only a Seahawk for the 5 years that he was in the NFL. From Rentham, Massachusetts? Did not know Lofa Tatupu was from Rentham, Massachusetts. mm, I have to give this one up here, but I'm
I think
gonna,
we're
I'm
gonna
gonna,
have to punt here.
yeah, Edrin James.
I don't
No,
think he ever played
he
for
played for the
the
Seahawks and the
Saints.
Colts, right?
He played for the Seahawks.
I think
I remember Adrian James being on the Colts and then on
Seneca
Cardinals.
Wallace, didn't he play?
Seneca Wallace, he was on Seattle and I think Washington.
Damn, no,
Was he on the Colts in Seattle?
no, Seahawks, Browns, Packers.
Put Jake Locker
Uh,
for Titans Colts.
who?
Jake Locker.
Well, this is gonna be it, but no, it didn't count. Jake Lockers. Okay, it makes me feel a little bit better that we have five, and that's the average score. So
This
it
was a
makes me
tough
feel
one.
a little bit better. Let's see the most. Okay, Kobe Fleener. That's a good one. Sean Alexander played for the Commanders,
I don't remember that.
and then Matt Hasselback. I did not know he played for the Titans. Andre Johnson played for the Colts.
I remember that, but it was like for like 2 weeks.
Oh well,
I forgot Matt Hasselback was on the Titans. I thought he was a Colt.
me.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. All right. Well, another year of 8-8, Jordan, and we're still mediocre. Is what I'm getting out of this.
Well, just looking off projections, everyone's kind of middle of the pack. So,
Hmm.
yeah, we are mediocre.
Gotta say that Joaquin, shout out to you, man. Thank you for having us. But having that suite for us to draft in, really cool. It was
Yeah,
nice
appreciate
to
that,
meet
Joaquin.
some of the dudes and to actually be able, congregate. I mean, we did the draft and then we bullshitted, but that was fun. Like that was a
Yeah, it was
sweet
a good
time.
time. Definitely
So,
a good time.
Joel, thanks for making the trip, man. I honestly salute to you because a lot of people wouldn't make that trip, and Joaquin, you too, and Noah for somehow driving here, and
Facts.
he's an animal. So Well, Jordan, let's get into our first order of business because that is really what we came here to do is to take care of business and make sure that we're able to preview the league and preview the
Absolutely.
season and make sure that we're doing all these fun things. And I mean, hey, it's just been a blast. So first thing we got to talk about, man, is the trades.
Yeah, we started off the year with some pre-draft trades, which is pretty typical for our league because none of us are patient enough to be able to get to the draft before trading.
Yeah, I think this is the
Um,
second year in a row that I've traded my first round pick. So
yeah, and I think this is the second year in a row that I also have dealt with a trade. I think Bill also traded last year,
mhm.
so it was exciting to get a couple out of the way. But it's
Yeah,
very typical for us.
very much so, very much so. So yeah, Bill and I swapped first round picks. I had the 12th, and then Bill had the fourth, so I got the fourth overall pick, which was Jamar Chase for me. And then we swapped second rounders, and then he gave me an extra 10th for the trade. So yeah, pretty easy stuff, typical things. But I thought it was the smartest thing for me if I'm going to get the maximum points out of my team to take that fourth round pick. And with us being a PPR league, Jamar
Take
Chase was a
that
no
tenth
brainer.
round pick. You mean that fourth overall pick
Sorry, the
and then
fourth overall pick.
gaining
Yes,
the 10th?
sorry, I misspoke. Yes, the
So
fourth
so for
overall
you
pick.
the real value was moving up. Did you offer this trade or did he?
Bill did.
Okay. And for you the value was being able to move up, be able to get somebody like Jamar Chase rather than being able to have to wait on the back to back at the end of the first round.
Yeah, I've just complete. I'm a similar camp to a friend of ours, Jordan, and I've just given up on any kind of running back. So I thought
Okay.
the smartest thing for me was to go get up and get a top tier receiver to make sure
Mhm.
that I'm getting the maximum amount of points every week.
So with your trade, you guys just swapped first and seconds, and then he gave you a 10th. The other pre-draft trade was mine with Joel. I gave him my first and my second, so the 103 and the 210 for his first, third, fifth, and 15th round picks. So his first round pick was the 108. I got the 308, the 508, and then the 1508.
hmm
Um,
what was your thought process behind this? Like, did you
so for
find
me, I
the
specifically didn't want Jamar Chase. That was the number one thing I didn't want is every draft that I had done, every mock draft that I had done going into this. If I ended up at the third pick, the first person was either taking Justin Jefferson or Christian McCaffrey. The second one was taking whoever they didn't take, and then that left me with Jamar Chase every single time, and that made me feel sick. So I did everything I could to trade out of that. I offered trades to just about everyone in the draft. The only ones I didn't were probably Rob and Ty. Those are probably the only two people that didn't get trade offers from me just because of where they were in the draft.
Mhm.
I didn't feel that I was going to be in a better spot. I think Ty's spot, I felt I would have ended up with Kelsey and
Yeah.
Rob's. It was somebody that I didn't feel was comfortable with pre-draft trades. He typically thinks it's worthless. Even pre-season trades, he usually also thinks is worthless. So it's not usually worth my time to try and negotiate those deals.
It
But Joel was
and
willing to play ball, and it got me a lot of picks. And that was
yeah.
my main thing, is I was willing to get picks in the first 6 rounds.
Well, no, this trade honestly was a preview of things to come. Clearly, because you and Joel have been very active before the
Yeah.
game, any game has transpired. So with that, Jordan traded Madison to Noah, got Mike Evans in return. Or no, excuse me, other way
No.
around. You got Madison, he got Evans. I apologize.
Mhm.
You also traded Ezekiel Elliott and T. Higgins for Chris Olave, another receiver there. And yeah, you just were looking to solidify. You didn't like. I don't like the situation in New England, so I think that's a smart move. Joaquin's, I guess, willing to gamble there, but I mean, also at the same time, it makes a lot of sense that Olave is going to get some more looks, especially with now they have Carr.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, with the first trade moving Mike Evans for Alexander Madison, I knew that Noah had put Alexander Madison on the trade block. I felt that his value, where he had taken him in the fifth round, might have been a little bit of a reach for some people, but I was comfortable with his fifth round value, and I had
hmm
had Evans, who I had taken in the seventh, so I had gained 2 rounds of value just by making that trade, in my opinion. And Evans wasn't even starting for me. With the
Yeah.
other trade with Joaquin Olave, he had taken in the third round. I had taken T. Higgins in the third round, but it wasn't with my pick. It was actually with Joel's pick that I had taken T. Higgins. So I
Mm,
figured swapping him for Olave, who I never had a chance of getting just because he had gone one pick before my second pick in the draft,
mm,
and then moving a Zeke pick who I had taken in the 11th round.
yeah.
So somebody that wasn't really going to end up playing on my team. I think Zeke's actually going to play really well. I did like having Zeke on my roster. I was a little bit sad to lose him, but to be able to move up and get Olave for T. Higgins, who I felt trapped with anyway, I felt a lot more comfortable there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could be completely wrong. I just I don't like. I mean, the news came out today about Juju and his knee, so I just don't like the situation in New England.
Yeah.
But yeah, losing T Higgins is probably the bigger part there. But gaining Olave, I mean, the guy has a chance of having 1,000 yards receiving.
I don't want to talk up the Saints because we have Saints fans in our league
We do
and
too.
I don't
Hmm.
like the Saints. But I do think that Chris Olave has a real shot at being the number one receiver this year. So
Yeah,
that's kind
no,
of my opinion.
especially with our favorite guy, can't play Mike. So you never know.
Yeah. Trades after that, we ended up with newest member of the league, AJ Glitchy Glitch, trading with Asian Massage Joel, who actually the whole reason he said he was doing the trade with me pre-draft was so that way he could end up with that first pick he wanted to take Kelsey, and he did. And he immediately turned around and traded him.
Yeah.
So he traded
Uh,
Travis Kelsey, Tyler Boyd, and Alvin Kamara, and he received Tyler Lockett, Evan Ingram, Aaron Jones, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
yeah,
That's massive.
that is massive. I think I have a like. Do you think this is Joel thinking like, hey, there's bound to be regression? Kelsey is old, so why gamble with that? I mean, you and me have had off the screen discussions about the Chiefs' offense, and it's basically two people,
Mhm,
Travis Kelsey being one of them.
mhm.
But there's got to be a fear somewhere in someone's mind of Travis Kelsey is bound to not do what he's been doing for the
Who do
last
you think offered
half a
that
decade.
trade?
Who offered that trade?
Yeah. In your opinion, who do you think offered that trade?
I mean, I know both of these guys not super well, but I know them. I would think it's Joel. He seems like the more of a risk taker, more of a guy like, hey, let's see if he actually does it. But I mean, AJ had to say yes. So
Looking at that trade, I just a lot of me thinks that this is something that Joel offered and didn't think would get accepted
yeah.
because he takes a lot of shots in the dark with random trades, and
Hmm.
I think he saw an opportunity with a new league mate and wanted to
Hmm.
swing for the fences, and he took his shot and he hit it.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, if the other team agrees to it, there's nothing. I'm not a big believer in like, oh no, that's gonna be unfair. So
Agree.
I mean, I mean,
If
the
people
good
want
thing
to complain
is,
about trades, they absolutely can, and then we can address them. But
yeah, and AJ
they
can
don't, so we
definitely
don't.
the AJ can definitely just stash Kamara, right? I mean, he has the IR spot, or and suspended players
Hmm.
technically go on there. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and Boyd isn't a bad option either at receiver. I don't want to discount Tyler Boyd here. He's a number two option
Who
or
would you say is the third
number three.
option
I'm sorry,
in Cincinnati? You'd say it's Tyler Boyd.
the third option or the second option?
Yeah, third.
Yeah, it's got to be Tyler Boyd. I have it's Jamar Chase, T Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I think the the history continues to repeat itself there.
So then the next trade that happens is kind of why I bring up who do you think is the third there because the next trade is also between Joel and now Noah, and in this one, Joel's moving on from another Cincinnati option, who I think is probably the third,
Oh,
Irv Smith Jr., Michael Thomas, and Donovan Peoples Jones, and in return, he's getting Amari Cooper and Cam Akers. What do we think of that trade? And what do you think of Irv Smith potentially being that three over Tyler Boyd?
I think Irv Smith didn't get a legitimate shake in Minnesota, so him restarting in Cincinnati, fair. I think it's a good idea for him. I do think that I mean I know that you were a little salty that Joel picked Irv Smith there in live time, but I know how you feel about Irv Smith, so I understand why you felt that way. But yeah, I mean, my thing is that I'm thinking about Cincinnati's situation at tight end, and I don't feel like in the past they've had a guy that like jumps off the page. I don't know if Smith will, but I have like who was it? Uzma? Was it CJ Uzma last year?
That was in Cincinnati?
Yeah,
I believe so. CJ
yeah.
Uzomah was, I believe he was the tight
And
end there.
I understand that Uzma isn't anything to write home about, but it's more so I just don't know how the Bengals and are going to implement a tight end into their offense when they have two super legit weapons on the outside and Tyler Boyd, who again legit but not as good as T Higgins or Jamar Chase. And this creates a problem of like there's too many mouths to feed, but it could be Irv Smith that is on the inside and Tyler Boyd that's on the outside.
But to a good point that you're making is those top end tight ends, the ones like the real ones, don't have competition.
They don't.
And like Mark Andrews and Kelsey, they don't have receiver competition that's taking away their
Mhm.
targets. Kittle recently has had that. That's kind of hurt
With
Kittle.
D, yeah, yeah. But even then is like because I just I don't know. I feel like even ever since college, Joe Burrow has been so accustomed to hitting a wide receiver
In
that
college, he had Thaddeus Moss.
he did have Thaddeus Moss, and Thaddeus Moss had a great career in college.
Mhm.
What happened in the NFL for him sucks, but it is what
Kind
it
of,
is.
yeah,
So, at the end of the day, like Thaddeus Moss is also a super athletic tight end.
yeah.
So I hope that Irv Smith. I mean, eventually, I mean, he's a tight end. He's gonna get some touches, especially in the goal line, and get some
Hmm.
targets his way and stuff like that. But if Irv Smith is gonna be that guy and take all those targets away from Tyler Boyd, we're gonna have to see it in the first like 3 or 4 weeks in the season.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I don't know about the Tyler Boyd being worth trading for.
I mean, it might be worth it to stash him because let's be honest. If any of those guys get hurt, Irv
Yeah,
Smith, D
he
Higgins,
immediately steps
Or
into
Jamar
a
Chase,
lot of targets. That's a good
he
point.
gets into a pass heavy offense, even with Joe Mixon being there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
because
definitely true.
that's the other thing. Joe Mixon is also okay with catching out of the backfield and running.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, those have been the trades so far.
I
Been
did want to
very
say
active.
I do think that Donovan Peoples Jones is going to have a good season this year.
Did he get
I don't know.
dropped? I believe that he already got dropped
Oh,
after
he
that
did.
trade took place. Let me verify,
Oh,
but
he
I'm
did.
pretty sure he
Oh,
did.
he did. Yeah, Noah picked up Van Jefferson.
And then has
Interesting
since
choice.
dropped Van Jefferson also. Noah's getting really excited about the news that keeps coming over. So like hearing
Who
that Cooper Cup was hurt is why he picked up Van Jefferson. And
who the
then
fuck is Sean Tucker?
so Sean Tucker apparently is the second running back in Tampa Bay.
This guy's in
He
orange. He went to
snuck onto the
Syracuse.
roster and is the RB2.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Uh,
noticed him. I took a look at him yesterday, but I didn't think he was worth making a move, especially
I
not for
mean,
Van Jefferson. But Van Jefferson going to waivers is interesting.
mhm.
It's a good time to bring up our new waiver system.
Oh yeah, we do have a brand new waiver system.
There were
FOB. Jordan had to enlighten me on this.
Fab,
Oh,
FAAB.
Fab. I'm sorry, not FOB.
Um, but we we have the new waiver system. That's a new thing this year. And then the other thing we added was adding an extra flex spot in your starting rosters. As far as Fab goes, just you get your budget. You are able to bid on players when they go to waivers. It's blind bidding, so that you're bidding against your fellow league mates. If they decide to bid on them, highest number wins. Very simple. Makes it so that people aren't sitting on the number one waiver priority all season. Instead, they have to bid for it, and then you see if you get it or not.
Yeah,
It's a
when
little more
injuries
competitive.
start happening, this is going to be an absolute crap show. So
This is going to be very exciting to see the losing and winning bids on things, especially if people think they need to bid really high and then that ends up not being the case, or vice versa. They think that they can bid low and somebody bids massively and gets the player they want. So
yeah.
it's going to be
So
exciting to see how that bidding goes.
So the one thing I really wanted to ask you about this, like, let's
Hmm.
say I bid $35 on someone,
Hmm.
and someone else bids $35. Does that then does it go to waiver wire?
Hmm.
Oh wow. Okay, got it.
Does indeed.
Interesting. Interesting.
As does if it's $0 bids. If anybody's bidding zero and that's the
Mm,
highest bid, it just goes by
okay,
waiver priority at that
understood.
point. So that's exciting.
Okay,
What else we
gotcha.
got?
Well, next thing that I wanted to ask you about is, we've drafted, we've done some trades. Season starts in 3 days. Lions Chiefs is the first game. Give me your best team and your worst team going to week one and game one.
Going into week one, let's just start with the losers because we know they're not going to end up in the playoffs. My worst team this season, just looking at everybody, giving everybody a fair view, full roster. Simon has the worst team in the league, and I
Poor
don't think
Simon.
it's close.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't agree with you that they're the worst team, but it's pretty bad.
I think it's the worst team in the league, and I don't think it's close. And that's including Paul, who auto picked, Bill, who's bad at fantasy football, and AJ, who traded away his whole team just for Travis Kelsey. So that's just my opinion.
A lot of faith in that
I'd love
Travis
to hear
Kelsey
who
guy.
you think is the worst team in the league, though.
Well, I'm gonna pick the worst team because I gave him this draft position, and I thought it was wonderful that I gave him this draft position. But I think it's Ramrod with the
It's tough.
Jeffersons. Look, Jettas is great, and I think that for sure, like, I just think there's a lot of gambling going on here with Aaron Rodgers being your starting QB. I'm not saying that like there aren't nice players on this team. I just don't think they're built for the long haul. I think Ramrod got enamored with Daniel Carlson after he hit that 62 yarder, and like drafted him. What did he draft him, like
Drafted him really high. I want to say 10th round.
10th round? 10th round, yeah.
Yeah.
So and then immediately goes and gets a defense, or no, he got a defense in the eighth
He
round.
has two defenses, by the
Yeah,
way.
and yeah, I just even look at the bench, just like Goff, Singletary, Tank Bigsby, Gallup, who's now the third option there, especially with Brand. I think there's the third option with Brandon Cooks being there. Your Brees Hall has Dalvin Cook in front of him now.
I don't know
You're
about in
you're
front
really
of him, but
banking on
he's been
Jacobs and
handcuffed to him.
Jefferson to go off every week.
Yeah. He really capped himself though too by adding Hawkinson when he's getting
Yeah,
Jefferson, so that caps that. He added Lazard, who's the number two receiver in the Jets for now, but it's also he's not going to really play on his team. He's got too
yeah,
many receivers to do that. So
yeah, totally. So it's
I understand why you think his team is the worst.
yeah, I don't see a lot of depth in this team, especially after the Jefferson and Jacobs. Like, I just don't think that, like, when bye weeks come through, and I mean we're all gonna suffer because of bye weeks, but I think I think Ramrod is gonna really suffer during bye
Yeah,
weeks. It's rough and suffer. That's what I was trying to say.
I would take his team over Simon's team.
I I don't disagree with you 100%, but I mean, I don't know. Ramrod has also surprised me before, man. I think he got Cooper Cup last year, and we were like, "Oh, Cooper Cup, why'd you get it?" And Cooper Cup went off until he got
I think
hurt.
it's interesting that we find the two worst teams in the league to be the teams with probably the two best kickers.
So,
He's
I
Simon's
mean,
got Tucker, Toto's got Carlson. They
hey,
both have
if you want
some
15 points out
deep
of your
tight
kicker
ends.
every week, I don't.
Maybe that's where we're wrong. Is that's where they see the differences. The rest of their rosters are weak, but they see that extra 15 points from the kicker, so they're really going to show us.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no.
All right. Well, I started with the worst teams. Go ahead and start us off with who you think are the best teams in the league.
I, man, to be honest, I'm gonna say right now I'm looking at it dollar tie. I really think is a really good front runner for best team right now. You got Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith. I think Goddard's going to be. He is he an Eagles fan?
He is, yes.
Okay. I mean, so Devonte Smith and Goddard, probably not the smartest thing there, but still not the worst idea. It's not. You got Debo. You're kind of betting on Gabe Davis to have a better season than he did last year. That's fine. That's a gamble, sure. But I think Montgomery is going to find success in Detroit. But the part that sucks there is Jameer Gibbs is going to be the starter, as far as I understood. And then yeah, you're hoping on Miles Sanders to do okay in Carolina with a new team.
I I've changed my outlook on Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think David Montgomery might be the running back to have there. Like, just thinking about how last year went, Jamal Williams was the running back you wanted. Even though Swift got a lot more snaps, you wanted Jamal Williams because he was going to get
Yeah,
you more efficiency and he was going to get you the touchdowns. And I think that might be the case with David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, especially because even when he was at Alabama, Jameer Gibbs didn't really get the goal line work as much,
yeah,
which just makes me a little more hesitant.
yeah. No,
So I
Jameer
agree that
Gibbs.
David Montgomery is actually really going to help that roster.
Yeah, I think Jameer Gibbs is a gamble. I mean, I think that's you know, it makes total sense but I think he's kind of hedging his bet. Like you're hedging your bets there with the Lions if you take Jameer Gibbs or David Montgomery because either guy can go off on any week. As we know, running back, it's running back by committee in most places here in the NFL. But it's that's the only guy that I can look up on Dollar Tie and be like, okay, that's a guy that might not go off, might go off. I mean, if Detroit, especially week one, is losing 38-7 against Kansas City,
Mm.
they're probably not running the ball. So
So for my pick for best team, I'm torn here because I do have two legitimate picks that it's going to sound like bullshit. I'm torn
I
between
told you
your
you could pick
team.
your own team, man.
I
I have
know,
no
and you
problem.
told me I could pick my own team, and that's why I'm torn here. I'm torn between your team and my team.
Well, other than Asian massage, I have projected the most points this week. So
So the thing about your team that I like your quarterback situation. I think that Kirk is a reliable backup if you don't get the points that you need from Josh Allen on a given week.
mhm,
The only issue you run into is your week 13 bye, but you have 13 weeks to figure out who you want to play that week. And if
mhm.
they win you 13 games prior to that, it's not
I don't
really going
care.
to
I'll
fucking
take it all.
matter because you'll already be in the playoffs and you can smoke a cigar on that week.
Yeah,
Your running backs are a little concerning, but they are starters for the most part. As far as these first two, they should get the majority of that work. Suspended with Ronald Jones. I don't think Miles Gaskins is worth a roster spot in the NFL or in fantasy, but what do I know? Tyler Algier is going to get a lot more carries than people think, and I think Brian Robinson is going to be a touchdown monster this year.
yeah.
I really like Jamar Chase and DK Metcalf stacked together. I don't like them on my team, but I do think that they're both going to put up a lot more numbers than defenses are going to be able to handle. So it's going to be something that you're just getting the volume from those two, especially in a PPR.
Do you think like one thing I did want to ask you about between in Seattle in that receiving room at the
Hmm.
end of the year, let's say we have
Jackson
18
Smith and
weeks.
Jigba.
Yeah, is JSN a starting wide receiver come week 18?
I think there's a legitimate chance that come week 8, Tyler Lockett's not a Seahawk.
You think he gets
Just
traded?
because of I think he gets traded just because of the way that JSN plays. I think he's more akin to Tyler Lockett than he is akin to Metcalf. I think they all three play differently, but I think that JSN is more likely to need the role that Tyler Lockett currently has. And Tyler Lockett is more needing money in the future, and his body is more receding, whereas DK Metcalf is still DK Metcalf as far as physical elements.
Yeah.
So I think that JSN likely will emerge and become starter. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I
Rest of your
asked more
roster
so.
wise,
Huh?
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you ask why.
No, the reason I ask is because like I know that people that right now JSN is the third receiver on that roster that they're
Hmm.
in the depth chart, but I think that changes very quickly. So
I agree. I think he's likely one of the first rookie receivers to really break out and show that they're meant to be here. Back to your roster. You got Juju, you have Jordan Addison, Nico Collins, and Jalen Hyatt. Juju, me and you both read something today about them thinking that Juju's knee could just explode at any minute. Don't love that. I'm sure you didn't love me sending you that this morning.
No, did not.
Jordan Addison, somebody that I've told you I don't think is necessarily going to break out this year. I think he'll be an incredible receiver in the NFL, but I think his role is going to be more limited until the season kind of progresses. So that'll
I
be an
mean,
interesting
he's going to
thing
be
to
the
see
third
develop.
receiving option on that team, right? It's
Fourth,
Jefferson, Hawkinson, then him.
I
Oh, KJ
disagree.
Osborne, right? KJ
KJ
Osborne. You're
KJ's
right.
the starter, so Jordan's going to have to work to get on the field even. And then on top of that, you added Josh Oliver in the offseason, who's somebody that will look for targets, even though you brought him in to be more of a blocking tight end. In the
Mhm.
past, also, the running back got a good share of receptions, and they've talked in this offseason about how Madison's ready for that role. So that could be something to watch out for as well, as far as trying to get new targets in there. But with them losing Thielen, targets have to go somewhere, right? So
Yeah,
somebody is still due targets. So I
definitely.
do think it's possible for him to get more of a role, and obviously injuries happen, so we'll see where he ends up as the season goes. But I do think he'll end up still getting probably 600-700 yards even on his floor. So I think that's a good spot for you.
Yeah, no,
I
I
think your
like
your
the.
sleeper though is the Jalen Hyatt one.
Yeah, he's looked really good in the preseason. I was really liking what what Jalen Hyatt was doing. I know like social media put a lot of hype on the whole Sauce Gardner and Jalen Hyatt
Hmm.
matchup in the preseason game, but I mean, I think Sauce Gardner is going to win that battle 9 times out of 10. I think Jalen Hyatt's what, like 6 feet tall, and I think Sauce Gardner's
He's
like
more of a
6'3".
slot guy in your opinion.
Yeah, he's a short
Yeah.
dude in all things considered. So I think like what we're gonna see out of Jalen Hyatt is like a Steve Smith Giants role. Is you know what
So
I mean?
with that being the case, that moves me into where I think the strength of your fantasy team is actually tight end, where you have Darren Waller, who's going to be that main receiver for that Giants team, right? He's going to
Yes.
be that target
Hmm.
monster that everybody's looking for.
Yeah.
And then I think the nice thing for you is you end up getting the same thing with Tyler Higbee, especially with no Cooper Cup to start this season. I
Yeah.
think he's the
Totally.
number one target on that roster, and I don't think that's close.
Yeah. Van Jefferson isn't getting as many looks as people think. So
Especially
um
with Tyler Higbee there. Like Tyler Higbee was somebody that was getting targets even with Cooper Cup there.
yeah.
So with Cooper Cup gone, he's going to still get as many, if not more. Van Jefferson will get something, but it's not going to be something as much as
Yeah.
the over the middle looks, especially in that offense.
I mean, they also got discount Cooper Cup too, so don't forget about Skoranek.
Yeah, but he's the fourth receiver on the depth chart. They have
Yeah.
Dana White's nephew above him, the Hawaiian kid. I keep forgetting his name.
Tutu? Tutu Atwell?
No, no, Hawaiian kid, Peki Nakua.
The one that went to BYU?
Peki Nakua. What is
Oh,
it?
oh, okay, gotcha.
Puka. Yeah.
Puka Nakua.
Yep. He's Dana
I did
White's
not know
nephew.
that's Dana White's nephew.
Yep.
Interesting.
So my pick is between your team because of that roster, as explained, or my team. I have two really good quarterbacks in Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Gambling a lot on Bijan. I explained why I like Madison. I think Dalvin Cook's going to get a large role. I'm gambling a lot on having Kareem Hunt on my team. I just think that eventually he's going to get signed, and wherever he goes, he's going to carve out a large role because he was very good when he played. AJ Dillon, he's the backup there, but he got a lot last year. I picked up James Cook today because James Cook worked out for the Colts. Him
Oh,
working
he's
out
no
for the
longer a
Colts.
Bill.
No, he had been released. So if
Oh.
sorry, not James Cook. I'm sorry, James Robinson.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
James
I
Robinson
did see that.
worked out for the
I was like, are
Colts
we talking
today.
about the same James?
James Robinson worked out for the Colts today.
mm,
And because of that, I think that if he were to sign there, that would be the best running back on that roster beyond Jonathan Taylor, who can't play for 4 weeks. Traded for Chris Olave. I told you I think he could potentially be the wide receiver one this year. Keenan Allen, still the top targets from my quarterback, Justin Herbert, so I like the stack there.
yeah,
Elijah
definitely.
Moore just got traded to Cleveland this offseason. He was previously, I think, a second round pick. He was somebody that was getting whenever he would actually get the ball with the Jets, he was doing well, but then he would bitch that he didn't get the ball enough, so then they were at odds, and then he ended up getting traded in the offseason. He's had a great camp. I think that Amari Cooper draws a lot of the attention there. I think he's going to be a sneaky option that people don't realize is there, until midway of the year, and then he's the number one. As far as Elijah Moore goes, KJ, I explained he's the number two in Minnesota. He just got the ball a lot last year, especially when it mattered. I think he can do a lot with it. Plus, he's coming into a contract season. Bateman, I could live without Bateman, but until we see otherwise, he's their
I think this is
number
also the
two.
second year
Like,
you have Mark Andrews, or as you like to call him,
yep. So
Mark.
then I have Mark Andrews, Mark, and then I also have Quentin Johnston, the rookie for the Chargers. I think
I think we're
he's
both really high on Quentin Johnston.
I'm a really high on Quentin Johnston. I like that I get to be high on a guy that has my last name. I like that I get to be high on a guy that is playing with my quarterback as far as my fantasy team, so I get to stack the points if he does do well. He currently isn't set to start, which actually gives him the most opportunity to develop throughout the year. And then actually, think the two teams that I was talking about, yours and mine, I think have the best defenses. I have the Steelers defense. I think they're actually the best, even though they were drafted really late
Yeah,
because I think they have Minka and they have TJ Watt, and that
yeah,
alone gives them the best defense.
gives him a
Your
huge
defense,
advantage.
you have the 49ers.
Hmm.
I want to ask you, are you concerned about this Nick Bosa situation?
About his contract situation.
Yeah, because he's not in camp. He hasn't been in camp.
Yeah. Um.
We're now, it's Monday, September 4th as we're recording this.
If
Still
there's
no Nick
anything I
Bosa.
know about Nick Bosa is that I know that he's a
Do you remember that Joey Bosa held out?
yeah, and didn't because he didn't want to sign, and then eventually signed
Hmm.
with the Chargers or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be there. But yeah, I mean, am I worried in the long run? No, because I think even if he signs like week 1 or 2,
Hmm.
let's say we're already in week 1 to be honest. So let's say if he signs between now and like a week from now, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I
Hmm.
think he'll get back to his old self. But I mean, I think a Bosa brother is also very capable of just going like, you know what, I'm out. I'm just not going to play
Yeah.
this year then.
And that would fuck your defense, is your review?
Yeah, it would screw me because a large amount of pressure on the front line is the reason that the guys in the back can wreak havoc too.
Hmm.
So yeah, if Bosa doesn't play, gonna have to pivot there, hopefully, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe someone steps up and goes off, but
Interesting.
mm,
So you're
I
not
mean,
worried. You're willing to play them regardless. You'll figure it out
yeah.
as it happens.
I mean, we're going up against each other week 1. I just realized that. I
Me
think
and you? No, we're not.
yeah. No, no, no. I meant the Niners are playing against the Steelers.
Oh, got you. As in our
Yeah.
defenses are going up
Yeah.
against each other. Oh, that's
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely much less worried about Brock Purdy
Yeah.
than you should be about Kenny Pickett, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny Pickett finished off last
I'm
season
gonna
really,
I'm
really
gonna
well.
throw this
So
poll in the chat right now. Just
do it.
not tell anybody, but we're gonna do Kenny Pickett or Brock Purdy.
They'll be in suspense until this comes out. I love it.
I'm just gonna not explain why either.
Okay. I love it. That's a great idea.
And then from there, you want to get into predictions for week one?
Yeah. Let's go over the matchups first, don't you
Yeah,
think? And
that's
then,
what
okay.
that's what I mean.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So I'm reading this off my screen. So of course I'm at the top. So this is the matchups for week 1 in our 8-8 league. We've got my team, Mouse Cop, against Can't Guard 'em, also known as Noah, aka Biracial Batman. So I'm projected to win 135 to 121. I'm picking myself. I think. I mean, again, I feel very confident this year. It's a news. I might not next week, but I'm feeling a little
Give
cocky.
me two people on your team that are going to be the reason that you win week one, as far as like their matchups week one make you feel confident that you're getting this dub.
I think Metcalf against the Rams. I think that's favorable for him. And then I think Jamar Chase against Cleveland. I think did I see some? I saw something about Denzel Ward today. Is he not playing?
That's a good question. I
I
didn't see
swear I saw
anything about
something about
Denzel
Denzel
Ward
Ward.
today. He missed practice.
He did miss practice.
He's still in concussion protocol.
Hmm.
It's interesting.
I don't know if this is true, but there is an article on Google that says Browns Denzel Ward urged to consider retirement after injury. That doesn't sound accurate, but that's wild.
Browns wire. Hmm.
Yeah. Yes, he's still in concussion protocol, so he might not play week 1.
That is very interesting.
But if he does, cool. But if he doesn't, Jamar Chase is going off.
Okay. So you are saying Jamar Chase and DK Metcalf are your two reasons that you're going to win this week based
Yeah.
on their matchups.
Yeah, the guy I'm
Um,
most scared about on Noah's team is, if I'm being honest, is going to be Devontae Adams. I mean, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be consistently getting him the ball? I don't know, but Denver doesn't have a great defense.
can I be honest? I wouldn't be
Yeah,
worried about Devontae Adams at all this week. I think this is your best week to not have to worry about Devontae Adams. He's got PS2 locking him up all night. That game is going to be a struggle for Devontae Adams.
fair, fair.
I think if you lose, it's because Lamar Jackson shreds that Houston defense,
That's true.
and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna let anyone see my mouth say this, so that way they don't get to save a clip of me saying it.
Uh huh.
But if Noah beats you, it's because Can't Play Mike actually had a game.
Dude, that'd be. I'm gonna have to cry in his lap when I see him September 17th.
Yeah, that'll be
So
rough.
yeah,
All right, let's get into the next matchup then. Who do you got as number two?
I've got Dollar Ty and Bill Jerry's Glory
Jerry's
Hole.
Glory Hole.
I'm picking Ty. I mean, I think he's got the best team in the league, so I'm picking him. I think I think Devonte Smith and possibly Dallas Goddard just go completely off against New England. So I think those are my two guys that I'm like, hey, they're gonna go crazy.
I think that weather could affect that game, so that could be tough. And I think that he's got Gabe Davis, who's going to have to go up against a tough Jets defense. Debo is going to go up against a tough Pittsburgh defense who's trying to prove themselves, who also is going to have good weather.
Yeah, and I mean Mahomes could just
Man,
carve up the Lions too. But
you know what?
yeah,
I'm going to take I'm going to take Jerry's glory hole on this one. I'm going to take Big
okay,
Bill. I think that Burrow, the two reasons I'm going to go with is I think that Burrow is going to slice up that Cleveland defense, especially if they don't have Denzel Ward, like we were saying. And then the other reason I think that he's got Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson both going up against an abysmal Arizona team.
yeah,
And I think that they're really going to have a coming out party. And I think that you're going to get to see
yeah,
a lot of Sam Howell shine, and it's going to be feeding those two.
yeah, for sure. Arizona's terrible. Okay, cool. So I'll pick Ty and you pick Bill. All right, cool.
So I've got Bill and you've got you and Ty.
Mm-hmm.
All
Cool.
right.
I've got next one. I've got is Glitchy Glitchy, and then Glock Purdy.
So we've got What a
I
Travesty
mm-hmm.
versus Glock
Glock
Purdy.
Purdy. So right now, Simon is projected to be AJ.
Hmm.
Man, I don't know. Diggs is gonna. Do you think Diggs gets locked up by Sauce? Like, I just he's gonna get his catches no matter what. But is he
I
gonna
think
go
Diggs is
off?
going to get his, but that means like 6 for 60 and like a TD. So like that's like
Mhm.
13. That's like an average day. It's not a good
And
day
the
for Diggs.
defenses are going up against each other here. We got the Jets for AJ, and Simon has Buffalo.
I think that I'm going to take What a Travesty this week.
Hmm. I have to agree. Even though he's projected to lose, I think that the matchups that AJ has on his side just look better. I mean, that's the thing is Joe Mixon against Cleveland could go off, like just completely go ape. And again, I mean, it's more so like I just like the way this side looks. I mean, yeah, he has Marquise Brown, but Marquise Brown is still gonna get something from a quarterback to be named later because they still
Somebody's
aren't
going
gonna
to
get
have
out.
to throw the ball, and
Yeah,
they're going to have to throw it to the number one receiver.
exactly.
That's going to be the design. But even more so, if he doesn't get it, it's going to be because they're feeding James Conner, which will benefit him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that the James Conner over Ramondre Stevenson matchup is going to be a main reason that this happens. I think Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon will be a wash. Quarterbacks a wash because they're both playing against teams that don't have strong defenses.
Hmm.
I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a better time against Buffalo's defense than Diggs will against the Jets defense. Marquise Brown versus DeAndre Hopkins. Marquise Brown, even if he's not getting a ton of shares, it's still going to be more than the Titans offense that's not set up to really throw the ball a ton. So they're both capping themselves with running back tight end combos. They're both dealing with this Jets versus Bills receivers and defenses kind of pairing. So this is going to be an interesting matchup to watch. I'm definitely going AJ.
Yeah. Next one is going to be you. Password is Taco versus the Jeffersons, aka Ramrod. Yeah, I think it's going to be you, bud. I think I've got you on this one. I know that Miami has Jalen Ramsey now, but I
Isn't
think
he
I think
hurt?
is he hurt? I didn't know that. I don't know if he's hurt. Either way, I think
He's
I
on
think
IR to
Herbert's
start the year.
well, damn. Well, I mean, so Herbert's gonna get his own get it. You know, he might have 300 yards, and the Chargers might still lose, but it doesn't matter. You have 300 yards and enough touchdowns there, so I think you'll be fine. Bijan, I think we're high on Bijan. I think he's going to be fantastic. So I think I like that matchup. I think Jacobs versus Bijan, it might be even, but I think I give you. I mean, the upside there for Bijan is a little bit better, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Madison and Brees Hall, we'll see. I don't know.
One
I
of
don't
them
know who's
has
going
the
to get more
workload, the
touches.
other one has a share.
Yeah, exactly. Your new Jettas. You're not going to lose. You're not going to win that matchup against Olave or Keenan Allen. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I still think your team is stronger and just is going to get the more points.
Yeah, I think when you get to the flex spot is where I start to get more even. Like the tight ends are going to be a wash. Receiver twos are a wash. He got me at receiver one. I think I got him at both running back spots.
Yeah.
I think flex wise, it's going to depend on if Jerry Judy even plays. We'll see if I end up playing Dalvin Cook. That'll be something to watch for my roster. And then kicker wise, who gives a shit?
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, I think you and me both have you winning this one,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan. So good. Next matchup here on my screen is going to be Esquire, Polly Esquire, aka Field of Dreams, versus the champ, four-time champ, Robe. Oof. Robe's projected to win right now. I
He's trial by
like it.
fire, isn't it?
There's a lot of chances here. A lot of chances here. I just
Like this matchup to me just says
Mhm.
we're gonna find out everything we need to know about the NFL season from these
In
two
this game.
teams. Like we've got Fields, who is potentially people are talking about could be the QB1 this year.
Yeah,
There's Anthony Richardson, who is talking about being the top rookie quarterback, and he's
yeah,
got the legs option. Tony Pollard, who just got given the role, versus Saquon, who just got paid off his tag. Got Najee Harris, who's adopting. He's now in his third or fourth year of having the solo role with the Steelers on a Steelers fans team versus Jameer Gibbs. You got the rookie. Potentially the two. Maybe he's the one with that team. Maybe he just shares the ball. We don't really know. Calvin Ridley off a 2 year wait between injury and suspension with a new team, Jacksonville. Cooper Cup, who's hurt, and he's got that hammy issue. We don't know what
yeah,
his deal is. Pickens, who has been talked about as potentially breaking out to eventually be a wide receiver one, the wide receiver one, versus Drake London, who's in his second year. He had a decent year last year. He's still developing, but they're in an offense that they think is supposed to thrive. Cole Kmet, who will be the tight end target for his Justin Fields, versus Dalton Kincaid, who was a high rookie draft pick to replace a team that already fed their tight end a lot in Dawson Knox that they brought back for money. So it's interesting that they paid him and then drafted a tight end still.
yeah. Yeah. This matchup, honestly, it's gonna. You're right. It's gonna tell us a lot about what this NFL season is gonna look like. Um,
Bench wise, they have Zach Robe has Zach Moss, who's
yeah,
potentially going to take that Jonathan Taylor role, which is obviously an interesting thing for him. And then on the other side, Jackson Smith and Jigbo, like we talked about on Paul's roster, gonna be tough.
mhm.
They're gonna be an interesting matchup.
I'm honestly my biggest sleeper for here is Paul having Jamal Williams. I think Jamal Williams is going to be. I mean, if I'm Paul, I'm starting him this week
Over
because of
who?
See, that's the issue is I don't know.
To me, over Odell.
Yeah, probably over Odell, but he's the RB1 right now, and he's
Yeah.
going to be for until Kamara comes back. So yeah, that's what I would do. Is I'd play Jamal Williams
If you're
until
Robe, what do you do for Cooper Cup? You just plug Mike Williams right in.
Mm. Yeah, that's probably an easy switch there. Just put in Mike Williams. I've heard a lot of good things about what is it? Oh no, sorry, I'm mixing my players here. No, yeah, it's Mike Williams. Easy Mike Williams. My
Yeah.
bad. I don't know why I thought Jalen Warren was a wide receiver. He's not. He's a running back.
Mhm. So who are you going with there?
I'm gonna go with the prediction. Probably I'm going Robe. Just
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the
out of
champ
pure
too.
just kind of figuring somebody's gonna win this one, so it's gonna be him. But Paul is one of those people that could put up a ton of points out of
He
nowhere.
always
So
figures it out somehow, right?
yeah, dude is an animal about that stuff. So cool. And then the last one I've got here is gonna be Joaquin, aka So Big It Hurts, against Joel, the Bayou Bandit. I love the name. Um, Joel is predicted to win this one.
I think it's gonna be very interesting if Joel wins this one because it means that Joaquin got beat by the Eagles, and it was because he decided to side with Dak Prescott. I think that'll be very funny.
Yeah,
I am
yeah,
gonna
for
go with
sure.
Joel this week, though. I think Joel gets a week 1 dub.
I agree. I have to agree with you there. I think
Joaquin, unfortunately, gonna break into new house with a loss. Sucks.
that sucks, man. But yeah, yeah. I think Ingram is the dude there in Jacksonville. So
Hmm.
I like Njoku. I don't know why I do like Njoku, but I just don't think that he's going to get a lot of touches this week, especially with it being against Cincinnati. And yeah, I just don't think it's going to be a good idea
Hmm.
for him. And I don't like Christian Kirk, so I think he loses against Tyler Lockett. Again, depends on we already talked about if JSN plays and plays well and maybe takes that spot from him. And but it might not be week one, right? It might
Yeah,
be
it's gonna be
later
a
on down
while,
the
in my
road.
opinion.
Yeah, the only thing that I think that Joaquin has got the upper hand on is, yeah, I think Baltimore's defense again, Houston. That's an easy dub. I think that's for sure something he's going to win. And then McCaffrey, I think he's those are the two guys that he's hoping. I think McCaffrey he's just hoping that can put up a ton of points against Pittsburgh. But with you having him as the second best defense in the NFL, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, no, I
So
agree with you. I think that just because of the way that this team is built, I think that Jason Scott's gonna get away with it
yeah,
on this one.
so
But
him putting in week work before the season even actually starts is going to pay off here.
yeah,
So,
I think
um,
this, in my opinion, this will probably be the closest matchup.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think again, Joaquin is also one of those guys that makes big brain moves before we even realize it.
Hmm.
So I think it's completely possible that he could make this much closer than we expect it to be.
The interesting thing is neither of them have anybody on Monday, so it's gonna be a done by the weekend matchup.
Yeah, I think Joaquin also hates how many NFC
Mhm.
East alums or current players there is in his roster.
Yeah, that
Uh,
aren't Eagles.
I mean, you've got Dak, you've got Daniel Jones, Zeke, Gainwell, Brandon Cooks. All right. So to recap, I've got myself. You've also got me, Jordan.
Yep,
I have Ty. You have Bill.
I have Bill.
Yeah. Uh, I think we both have AJ.
Yep,
We both have you.
yep,
We both have a sneaky Paul pick, or no, we both picked Robe.
yep. We both
But
took
again,
Robe.
I'm putting an asterisk on that one for me because Paul can pull out some things out of his ass,
Okay.
and then we both have Joel and move in.
Yep.
So
And what do you think is going to be the closest matchup? Do you think it's going to
hmm,
be that Paul Robe one? I'm leaning for it to be the Joel Joaquin matchup will be the closest.
I think it's going to be Ty and Bill. Honestly, I think
Oh,
uh, picking Ty, but I think that it's very easy for Bill to. And if history repeats itself, and history repeats itself all the time, Bill's going to
mhm.
win week one and then be terrible for the rest of the year. So
So to recap, then you think that me and you are both starting the season 1-0, and
I
we
think
think
so.
that the worst team in the league is either Toto or Simon, and the best team in the league is either me, you, or who was the third one? Who was the one that you picked?
Dollar tie.
I see why. So it's gonna come down to it then. See how
The
week 1 goes.
next week we might be looking very different, you and me, because right now we're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. We're excited.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited for this.
There's no numbers on the board yet, but next week you and me might be both looking really sad or really happy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But going forward, we should have some more guests coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
We're looking at getting Joaquin, I think, after week 1, just to let him settle in and see how the house is feeling, and then we'll go from there. But let's get into another year of the 8-8.
Dude, I'm excited. It feels nice. Feels nice.
Happy to be back.
Oh yeah. All right, dudes. We'll talk to you soon, and don't hit me up for anything. If you need something, hit up the commish, not me.
You know what we say? Go fuck yourselves.
Spot in this game time. Me and my squad on the move. Work round the clock, we don't waste time. I ain't got nothing to lose. If I see a shot, I'ma take mine. Y'all must have got me confused. If I make that call in the game slot. Game time, game time. Pull up to this spot in this game time. Game time, game time. Pull up to this spot in this game time. Game time, game time. Pull up to this spot in this game time. Game